So everyone tells you that divorce is painful, but nobody tells you what comes after it.
Wow. Well, I've never been divorced, so I don't know what that experience is like. But my parents were divorced, and trust me, it does impact the family.
That's right.
Divorce, I've been divorced a couple times. For me, it depends on the people involved in the divorce. Of course, you know who you're divorcing. I had a divorce that was very easy, and I was so happy to be away in divorce. Then I had a divorce where it impacted my children.
That's right.
So that was, I had to navigate those waters with the kids and co-parenting, and that was tough.
Welcome to Three Voices Unfiltered. We're your hosts,
Ronisha,
Theresa, and Suzanne. And around here, nothing is off limits. We talk about everything, the real, the messy, the hilarious, and the inspiring. So let's get into it. That changes the dynamic. So
yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Three Voices Unfiltered. And it's time for this week's 3VU reality check. So I'm going to give you some facts that are out there regarding divorce. Studies estimate that roughly 40 to 50% of first marriages end in divorce. I thought that statistic had changed, but I guess evidently it hasn't changed. Maybe it's dropped from, I remember it being 50. Now it's 40 to 50.
Wow.
That first marriages end in divorce. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's half.
That's half.
That's half. But here's what the statistic doesn't tell you. It doesn't tell you about sitting in a parking lot after signing those divorce papers and you're not ready to drive home. That was me. Like I was pretty devastated. It doesn't tell you about learning how to sleep alone at night. Like these are just little things that we don't think about when we see somebody going through a divorce. How is the way that it's affecting them. It doesn't tell you about opening your refrigerator and realizing you're making dinner for just one person, or maybe you and just your children. In that case, I don't think it will be that much change. How friends may disappear. If you're in a Christian setting, some people will turn their backs on you.
Or people take sides.
People take sides.
Yeah, because you think about the married couple, they shared friends.
Mm-hmm.
They share friends. So today we're talking about all of that.
Yeah.
So, for transparency, I've been divorced once.
I've never been divorced.
And I've been through parents that were divorced. So I went through that. I don't remember a lot of it. I was 3, but I did go through parents that were divorced. How about you, Ronisha?
Yeah, I've been divorced twice. My parents are still together. They've been married for 52 years.
Wow!
That's awesome.
That
52 years. I don't know how they did it.
That's amazing. That's a big, not that many people nowadays can say that they've been married for 52 years.
Yeah, 52 years.
I think 52 years, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's so long.
I'm not even 52 years old. They've been married like longer than I've been alive.
Yeah,
so
that's
crazy.
awesome. And you have 4 children, so they've been through like just to put it in perspective, like how long that is. Mm-hmm. Your lifetime and then your children's lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They've
4
always
of them.
been married. Yep.
So let me ask you, Ronisha, when did you know it was over? You can pick any of the 2.
Let me see which time. Let me think.
The most interesting one.
I don't know. The first time I knew it was over because we were just like growing in different directions. I'm like, this is not, it's not balanced. It wasn't balanced. So I knew it was time to call that one quits because it was a struggle just to get on the same page.
Yeah, I would say for my divorce, something like you, like it wasn't balanced. There were signs that I wasn't paying attention to, or maybe not wanting to pay attention to. And then eventually one day it was like, boom, I want to get a divorce. I'm like, wait, what? So it was, then I didn't want it to be over because I always said that would not be me since I went through it with my child as a child. I didn't want that to happen to me or to my child. But so one thing that you mentioned that to us before is that relief. Some people feel relief when they get divorced, and some people feel grief. I felt grief.
The first time I felt, it was like I felt more like embarrassed that I was getting a divorce. I didn't feel grief or sadness. It was just like, This is
I'm a
embarrassing.
failure.
I gotta
This is
tell
how I
people.
felt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt a failure. I wasn't good enough in a sense because I did beat myself up about it. But did you feel relief the second time?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I wanted to have a party. I was like, now I realize why people have divorce parties. When the magistrate came and gave me the divorce papers, I was like, thank you. He looked at me like, okay. I was so excited, so happy, and so ready for that marriage to be over.
Yeah, I was sad. But
may I share something?
Yes,
Let me share
of
something
course.
from a perspective of a child of divorce.
Because how old were you when your parents were divorced?
Okay, I don't know exactly when my parents got divorced. So what I'm going to share is when they separated, when my mother left, when my mother left my father, and I was 17 years old. And I had just graduated from high school.
You know what's happening
yeah.
then.
Oh, first of all, they probably never should have gotten married, to be honest with you. But we're not going to get into that because my entire childhood was filled with that animosity or whatever it was between them, And my mother said that she stayed. One of the reasons she stayed is because she had 4 children, 4 kids, 3 boys, and a girl.
That's why a lot of people do it.
Another thing is, probably also finances. But my thing is that I come from a place that I don't think that parents should stay together for the sake of the children. I really don't. Right. Because I believe that what you do is you affect the mental and emotional state of those children.
Yes. And that is
a big thing, for me.
That's one thing that I noticed after I got divorced. I would come home from work, pick up my child, come home from work, and I was like, it was quiet. And after a few days, I was like, I kind of like this. There's no, what are we going to fight about today? What's going to happen? What's going to make whatever, this person mad? It was peace.
Yes.
And I really did not realize how much lack of peace we had until we weren't together anymore.
Yeah, it was a sense of relief for me because, like I said, I was 17 years old and they should have separated long time.
So you feel that they shouldn't have stayed married for the sake of you guys because it created more trauma for you and long term.
Yes, because and then you have to understand
that's
when you
interesting.
Stay together for the sake of the kids. They don't see healthy relationship.
Right. That's true.
Just say healthy relationship. They don't see that. All right. So that's one of the things. That's another thing that affects them. So, yeah.
So, Theresa, now that we're talking about this, did it change your view of relationships?
It absolutely did. Even though when I was 17, I was in love when I was 17, y'all. I was with my son's father. That's why I always tell my son. I told my son, he was a love baby, and it was all good. It was all good, and we were together from the time I was 16 to 21 years old.
Wow!
So that was a long time, and it was all good. And but it did affect me because as I've shared before, I've never been married, and I'm in my 60s. I've never been married. Not that I didn't have opportunity, not that I had bad relationships, because I didn't. I had great guys in my life. I've never been used, abused, talked down to. I've never experienced any of that. But it was a sense of protection too. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It's a sense of protection when I just feel like that now. I didn't feel like that when I was going through it.
Right. That's right.
But, as you get older and you realize certain things,
Yeah, that's why one of the things about me getting divorced, I was so devastated. I was devastated, y'all. Really, I tried to, I got us to sit with a counselor for a few times. I was really trying not to let this happen because I grew up without a father. My mom and my dad divorced when I was 3. I refused. I told myself I did not want my son to grow up without his dad. So it was a sense of shame, a sense of starting over. I have to start over. We've been married for 7 years at that point. I think it was It was around there anyway. And I just didn't want that for Kevin. So post-divorce, I was one of those parents adamant that my child will have a relationship with his father. Regardless of what his father did or didn't do or whatever, I never stood in the way. I never talked back. I'm not going to say never. That might be a lie. But I didn't talk back bad about his father to him. I may have talked bad about his father to her. Or her. And he may have heard me, but never to him. I never said, your dad is this. Don't call your dad. Never, because that was like, I was adamant that was not going to happen. Because that happened to me. So you don't know this person, you don't remember, and you hear all these bad things about them, and then you meet them and they're not that bad. So why would you do that? How did you feel about that with your children and their dad?
Yeah, I tried not to talk about their dad. And I knew once they got older, and they were so defensive over their dad, like they love their father. So I tried not to display my disappointment in him after our divorce, being a good dad. But they realized a lot. Now that they're older, we have a lot of conversations, and it's very interesting what they saw, what they remember. And, they validated a lot of the things and that I did,
because the truth is going to come out.
Yeah, the truth is going to come out. So I didn't have to shoot him down.
So I wasn't worried about, in my situation, I wasn't worried about my son seeing or not seeing, because if there was something there, he was going to see it eventually. He would eventually be mature enough to figure it out. But it wasn't my job to reveal or make anything bad be known. Or just talk about the person in general, like they're this or that. It's no need, because you want your relationship. Your child will be happier as an adult if they have a good relationship with their parent, regardless.
And I've always said that, Suzanne. I always said that children do not stay babies, toddlers, adolescents, teenagers forever. That's don't. Right. So if you are, and I don't care which parent it is, if you are raising them in a healthy way, and the other parent is slacking in whatever areas, the child will know that.
They'll pick it up.
That.
Yeah, they'll know.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Like if they forget Christmas, or if they forget birthdays, or if they don't call for this, they're going to know. They're going to eventually pick up on it. Let's how about, this is a big one in Christian circles. Your friends disappear. If I have known people that are Christians and were divorced because they were in a really abusive relationships, and their friends turned their backs on them because you're not supposed to get divorced. How do you
that's, what, that word Christian is so loose, and that's judgmental. Like, I mean, that means you're judging that relationship, and to say you're a Christian and you turn your back on somebody is crazy.
Like you're judging their decision without knowing the why. You don't know what happened.
That's right. So
that's a big one. Me. That's why a lot of couples stay married, and I am not advocating divorce at all, like in no way, shape, or form. But there are situations where if you're in an abusive relationship, it needs to be explored, or
you need to leave,
or talk to someone or something.
Somebody
because
putting their hands on
I
you.
have a friend that was in an abusive relationship and she ended up dead. So I am not advocating that you stay, because things that are really bad can happen. He killed their 5-year-old as well. And
I didn't know that.
That's a whole other episode.
Just violence.
So it's not okay.
It's not okay. I don't care, Christian.
And it can be emotional, physical for sure. It could be mental. Like people will just manipulate you, and you can't be in that situation and think that it's okay, and stay for the sake of the children or for the sake of your faith. And I have people in tears crying to me. My friends turned their backs on me because it wasn't biblical to get a divorce, and their belief anyway. And they wouldn't talk to them, so they had to navigate through that. Another thing that we might not need to navigate through is family dynamics and changing, like Theresa mentioned. Things are going to change. Where's mom? Where's dad? How about holidays? Now you got to be in one house for one holiday and then, another house for the other holiday, or split the holidays. Like, that puts a toll on children.
It does, but Suzanne, I still think that there's a way to do it that's healthy, because you did it with Kevin. How many times that we drove to the South Carolina border to meet, Kent halfway? We did that, and you guys alternated. It's a way to do it. And
There's a way to do it.
And you're not the only one. I have a cousin that did the same thing, that her daughter has a very, very, very healthy relationship with her dad. Even though, my cousin got remarried. I have another cousin who did not talk crazy about her daughter's father, to her, But guess what? Her daughter, when she got of age, she saw what was happening and she made her own, decision.
Because the truth will come out in the end.
But then let me tell you,
but you don't want to dirty up their mind about it. You just let it all play out.
And so then my cousin had to flip the script and really continue to talk to her child about not having a bad attitude or bad feelings or feeling a certain way about her.
Because ultimately, these are your parents. You want to love them and you want to respect them and honor them as we should. But it's just divorce is hard, period, for everyone. Especially, I don't remember, I was 3, but you remember and you were grateful that they finally did. So see the difference. How about when one of the big things for me was income. We're going to go from a 2-house income to a 1-house income. I can't afford it.
That was easy for me.
Struggle. That was it or not?
That was easy for me because this man barely wanted to go to work. So
see, and in my case, that was like the first thing I was like, what are we going to do about finances? Like, I knew I couldn't afford it. And, all I'm going to say about that is that the Lord worked it out. He knew what was coming in my life. He put me in the right place, and everything in the end, even though it was hard, it all worked out. It was fine. We were fine. We didn't have to go to the shelter.
Oh Lord. Yeah, my marriage
or go back home. I didn't have to do any of that.
My marriage is feeling like I wasn't married. I was with I had a 5th child. That's how it was feeling. So I'm like, why am I married? Like, I'm responsible for everything you need and the kids.
Ouch.
Yeah. So that's how I felt. And that was another decision as to why I was like, why am I married?
And dating, like, did you feel dating was a big, or were you excited about dating again? I wasn't excited about dating again.
No, I wasn't excited. I mean, I went some years from that first divorce to the second marriage. It was several years.
And everybody wants to set you up. Oh my gosh, I have so many people trying to set me up. I know this guy. And I'm like, I don't want to be with anybody because I do want to talk about this. People don't understand that in some marriages, I'm not going to say all because in your experience, you were like dancing out the door. You go through
For
grief.
the second one.
You go through grief.
Oh, I didn't go through grief.
And when I sat through it with the counselor about it, she said the grief after divorce is, in her words, I'm saying what she said, it's worse than death. Because when somebody dies, everybody's supportive. Everybody's, wants to bring you a casserole, sends you cards, loves on you because you're grieving the loss of this person. But when we're grieving the loss of divorce, people are kind of sort of either they shun you or they celebrate you. But nobody understands that you're actually losing the person that you slept next to for so many years, the person that was there in the morning when you woke up, that was grief. And I went through that grief and I didn't even know it was grief until the counselor told me. Wow. So there was a period of grief that we should be aware if we know anyone that's going through a divorce. Like, just ask them, hey, is this a good thing for you? Are you happy? Or is it grief?
Yeah, how are you doing?
How are you? Like, what are your emotions through this? Because we don't even get it.
No, that was me.
Ronisha was so happy. I wasn't happy.
I know. I can understand why you weren't.
I wasn't.
I was like, wait, I gotta
yeah,
get
so
out
there's
of here.
things that you can go to therapy. You can find support groups to help you navigate through that. And the last segment we're going to go is dating again. How was dating again for me was hard.
Yeah, dating for me was
I
different
didn't like it.
because I had a different perspective. I'm like, listen, I am wife material, sir.
That's
so
right.
everybody was like, ew,
That's
you're
right.
not good enough. So
Did your previous divorces help you with red flags
yeah,
for the future?
it didn't help me with
It
red
did
flags because
me.
a lot of red flags I just ignored and I shouldn't have. But what it helped me do is not ignore them like I did before. Because
Right.
I
Yeah.
already had I seen red flags with the first one. I saw red flags with the second one. I was like, it'll be fine. But the third, dating after the second divorce, I'm like, nope. If I see a red flag, I'm out. Period. And that's what I did.
So did it develop trust issues?
No, because I really give everybody their individual trust platform. Like you have to earn it, period. So
I had trust
what
issues.
somebody did over here has nothing to do with this one over here.
See,
so
that's mature.
I didn't have but I didn't
guess
have
was
trust.
mature.
Yeah, I didn't
I
have
had
trust,
trust
issues
issues.
because they didn't like our divorce wasn't because of trust or anything. It was just, character things.
How about you, Theresa? Did it contribute to growing up when you were growing up with divorced parents? Did it contribute to value or avoid certain relationships? Like, were there any red flags that would take? Oh, I saw. But you said you always dated really nice guys, though.
I've always dated really nice guys.
Maybe that's why you did.
I mean, maybe that's why.
Yeah.
So I would always, not always, but I would sometimes cut it off when it got either a little bit too intense or I wanted to go and date somebody else.
Wow.
And I just, and I've had, a few long-term relationships. I have.
Right.
But it just never led to divorce. And as I think back on it, I will have to say that my parents' separation affected me and my decisions in relationships.
Yeah.
I have to be honest about that because
that's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It does affect. It did affect
It does affect
me.
you.
Because all I heard was like how bad men are and how bad this and they only want one thing and men and men and men and bad and bad and bad. That's all I heard all my life growing up as a kid. So I was terrified of men.
And for me, it was like, divorce is not an option. And I'm
Right.
like, it's an option for me though. So
Yeah.
and I always felt like my parents were like disappointed
Yeah.
because they stayed together through thick and thin. My mom even told me, she was like, when I divorced the first husband, not to date, not to do until my children turned 18 and moved out of the house. I'm like, what?
Wow. And they were little, right?
We were married for 10 years. So one was like 8. One
The
was
little
like
one was the 8.
and
That's little.
7.
8 is little.
I think 7, 8, and 7.
Yeah.
The younger ones. But that goes to show you like the sacrificial mindset in some people for marriages. Like you said earlier, Theresa, about staying in a marriage for children. And then if you get a divorce, not even dating until the children move out and go to college, I would just be dating right now.
So we know people in that yeah. Dating right now, I did that. I waited, not after my divorce, a long-term relationship, and I broke up with that, and I didn't date for 10 years. But that was for my own healing, not because somebody told me to do that because whatever. I'm sure your mom had good intentions behind it.
She just didn't want the kid, and the kids didn't like anyone that I dated.
That's right, because
they
older.
did not like anybody. So
when they're older, they get to see and know. So
yeah, so they were not happy, especially when I got married the second time. They were like, ugh.
So I admire people. We mutually know someone, and I've mutually known other people that they get divorced, they still vacation together, they still do holidays together. Like, that is the best of both worlds.
I don't want to vacation with him because he don't want to go nowhere, but I still talk to my first ex quite a bit. I mean,
see, because they were such a big part of your life to then just shut it off completely. Like, I don't understand. I
think it's because of the kids.
Yeah,
it's
the kids. Right.
Like the second one, I have no
ties at all.
No
right?
ties. Don't call me. The house is sold. This is my car. These are my dishes. This is my rug.
So you were just like, pack it up and go.
Yes, we had no ties, and he is wherever he is, and I'm where I am, and that it is over. It is the end.
Wow.
So the takeaway in all of this is, you don't have to become who you were before.
Yeah, what's the takeaway?
No, there's a takeaway, but you can become stronger and you can rewrite your story, right?
Yeah,
you can. That could be the takeaway. Like, getting divorced it can be awful for some people. It can be great for other people. But either way, you get to rewrite your story your way and use it as an experience, and think about your children, like Theresa mentioned. Like, that's a big one, because you don't want to create more trauma in the midst of trauma that lasts forever, that can be long-term and affect them for the rest of their life. And I think divorce has impacts that we're not even covering here. I mean, we can talk about divorce for hours.
We could do a part 2 on this.
It's a big subject, but
I have a question for you, Suzanne, because this just popped up in my mind. Would you, the person that you are today, would you still have divorced the first time, or would you?
Well, I didn't want to get divorced.
You didn't want to get divorced?
No, I didn't want to get divorced.
So you didn't have a choice at all.
Am I kind of glad, looking back, hindsight?
Yeah.
That was not healthy.
And that's the main thing, is to have healthy relationships. And if it means divorce, it means divorce. It just does. But sometimes, let's put this little twist in it. Sometimes separations helps.
Yeah.
Sometimes separation helps.
It gives you space.
To give both parties space. And then, because we've seen that happen when people get back together, and it's healthier, it's better, because people have done the work.
I've heard the opposite, that it's a bad thing to separate. I've heard the opposite.
It depends on, like, I've read a book. I think it's called Emotional Abuse. And sometimes if you're in an emotional abusive relationship, they recommend that you separate because you don't want to be in it, to find out, so you can both work on it and then figure out if you want to make it work. But I'm a once married, always married person. Honestly, it just didn't work out that way for me. I was going to get married to stay married until death.
No matter what.
No matter what. And that's what I believe. I believe that I'm going to get a divorce because I don't love you anymore. It's not an option. You just need to make it work. Sometimes I don't even love people that I love. Like, it's an emotion, but like, if you have a legit reason because of abuse or whatever to get divorced, the point of the podcast was that there is life, there's hope after divorce. And if you know someone that's getting divorced, don't shun them. Talk to them and find out why they did that. That was the heart behind the podcast, because we're not advocating. We're not advocating. It's just because there are special circumstances. It's just that there's life, there's hope, and I just believe that just try to do. Every relationship is different. Yeah.
And you can't look at other people's relationship and make decisions.
Yeah.
That's true.
You have to do
and compare
what is best for you, your children, if you have children.
Yep.
And keep it moving. And for me, is if God is not at the center of your relationship,
God has to be.
That's a
the
problem.
Key.
And that is the key. You will never go wrong by keeping God.
Because it literally, like it says, it takes 3. And I believe in my personal experience in my marriage, it takes 3 to make it work out. And the third person is the Lord. Like it's because there's times that I love my husband, but there's times I just don't really like him. I'm mad at him. I don't like him, but I'm not going to go to divorce court for that. I'm going to work it out. I'm going to pray about it, and I'm going to see where we can both come together and fix it. Mm-hmm. And
yeah.
Okay. So this is our call to action, listeners. What's one thing nobody warned you about after divorce, or watching someone you love go through one? Like, what's one thing nobody warned you about going through it or watching someone? And let us know in the comments, were you divorced? Did you enjoy it? Were you celebrating? Were you sad and grieving? And just share your experience with us. We would love to hear from you. And as we always ask you, we ask you to subscribe, follow, comment, and share. Anything else, ladies?
That's it.
That's All right. Catch you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Do us a big favor and hit that like button, share this episode, and subscribe.